right. The van is a total disaster at the moment. So I'm over here and I'm gonna do a few things. I want to talk about a couple things. This might be a little long. And do that in my seat swivel. Nice and comfortable for you. Always remember to slide your seat forward all the way. Have the back up right before you decide to move this thing. This makes life a little bit easier. Try to get your water bottles out of the way so you're not being crushed and you're scratching your head going, what the hell's going on? Why doesn't this work? I gotta adjust this too. I gotta pop this screw out and lift this lever. Alright. Gotta love that seat swivel, man. I was looking for my phone, but it's right there. Okay, so as I said, it's a disaster area in here right now. And let's talk about the first thing. I just discovered this. So I like these Molly 2 packs. They were from the military stuff from, I guess, in the 90s they were using this more. That Molly 2 system, I'm not sure if they're even still using it because they upgraded. I know the Marines changed. But the strap system is really cool, and it's designed to use with, if you don't know what Molly is, it's just these straps, and I wish I had the corresponding thing, but usually there's the same size strap and it's stitched every inch, and you can weave these straps into that to attach panels to other gear. And now there's companies that make Molly panels that you can buy. They cost a bunch of money, which I don't really have, and so I've been trying to think of another system. And what I did here was I put some hardware up here for window hasps, and that bottom one falls off. This one here I screwed over through it so that can't come off. But then I found these, and people throw these away all the time. These are shelves for kitchen cabinets back in the day in the 1920s that would aerate. You know, it's usually there's like a vent in the ceiling, and it can aerate the stuff that's in there. And people rebuild their kitchen cabinets, they don't use these anymore, and they throw them away. And it turns out that that works pretty well. Look at that. So I'm going to figure out a way to mount this on here, and I can get 3 of these things on there. It'll fit perfect on here, width-wise and height-wise. I just have to figure out a way to, oh, look at that. I could probably, oh, it hooks on the hook, and it'll give me the distance. I could put the, oh, this is going to work out perfect. Okay, you see what's happening there? Woo, exciting. Isn't that exciting? All right, let's see if I can give you a better view here. I'm so pro. I'm using a 99-cent store tripod. So, I got a letter from a guy, Astro real cool dude, and I'm not going to give away his name or where he is or anything like that. Try to raise this up for you. This is very precarious. I'm so bad. It's going to fall while I'm talking to you probably. So I'm not going to give away his name, where he lives or anything. He doesn't do social media. I can understand that. The reason I'm going to read portions of this letter to you is because it kind of demonstrates to me, to you, I'm going to try, that how social media works for me in a positive way. See, I use it because I can show what I'm doing with my projects, especially with the woodworking, Mike Z Design, and then people can see what I do, and they know I'm willing to go anywhere, and then they contact me, and that's how I get projects. That's how I survive. I can see this thing rattling around up there. So, this is per example why. I'm just going to pull this out here. And Astro van owner, all right, sent me a letter. I get letters from time to time. It's kind of funny. Mostly I get a lot of emails. I get a lot of questions from people. I don't mind answering questions when I have the time. I get put off once in a while. I'm not angry about it or anything, but quite often there are questions that are answered in the content that people are attaching their questions to already. So just watch the whole video. You probably get your answer. That's kind of how I look at that. And I know I sound like I'm down on the group sometimes, and I don't mean to, but I want to give you a quick analogy there. Why it gets to me a little bit. When I was young and I got out of the Marines, I started building houses. I didn't know anything about building houses. I was the top architecture student in my class in high school. I won a bunch of awards, first place awards, statewide awards, my senior year, and I chose to go in the Marines. I've been living alone since I was 14. My father was an immigrant. College wasn't something I even cared about wanting to do. I did it later in life, but so when I got out of the service, I started working with these guys building houses. We were doing new home construction. I've done everything. I worked on new home construction, remodels, additions. I've worked on boats. I've worked on vans and RVs before. I was in the film industry. I've done pretty much every type of carpentry there is. And when I was young, I would listen to these guys, these older guys. When I first started, I was working with a couple guys that had been in World War II. One guy was an engineer in World War II, landed at Normandy, marched all the way to Berlin. He said he had 2 mice in his pack that made a nest. He never opened his pack the whole trip until he got there and he found the 2 mice in there. So these guys were always on our ass, razzing us, trying to tell us how good they used to do things. And then as I got better and moved along and quit a lot of jobs, took on my own jobs, became my own man. More and more, I was doing work that was done at a time when those guys would have been young men, and a lot of that work was not great. And that's when I learned something. It's more of like how do as I say, not necessarily as I do. And specifically when it comes to carpenters, and I learned this when I was in the film industry, not just carpenters, but anything. If you've been doing something for a long period of time and you've achieved a certain level of proficiency with it, it can be an ego thing. You can think you're really good at this. It still doesn't mean you're necessarily doing something correct or the best. Somebody could come along, a newbie that has a higher than average intellect, see what you're doing, think about it, and come up with a better system. Might be a little faster, a little stronger. Might take a little longer, but might be better in some other way. So it's always good to check yourself a little bit, you know. And I find that with the Astro van world. You know, those guys have been doing this a lot longer than me. They've owned a lot. I've only had 2. This is only my second Astro van. And there's a lot of guys that have done all kinds of crazy trips, gone to places I still want to go. And they've been doing things a certain way, and they want to put the advice out, and it's good. Most of it's very good. But some of it isn't as good as it could be. You always improve on things. So don't think you always know everything. I don't. And I'm not doing any of these videos because I'm telling you how to do something or because I think my way is the right way of doing it. I think that should be pretty clear as you watch the video. I'm like, hey, look what I found. Oh, let's try this. Hey, here's what I'm doing here. I'm not saying this is the best way to go. If I think it's a good way to go, I'm going to tell you why that is and show you some pictures or video. So this guy wrote me this letter. He's an Astro van fan. I'm going to kind of skip through this a little bit. He talks about me mentioning rust-free vans. He found one that he bought for $600. He was lucky it had a good motor. And he says here, I like mechanical things to be simple. Unlike newer vans that have space-age motors, the Astro's motor is an old design with new technology added to it. This allows it to be converted back to an older and simpler design. With newer vans, this isn't an option because they never were old and simple. The transmission was the first to go. He decided to replace the 460 LE computer-controlled transmission with an analog 700R4. This guy's done a lot of crazy stuff to his Astro van. It's very cool. Did he say the year? He's not telling me the year here. Maybe it'll pop up. He says he replaced the Spider fuel injection system with a cast iron GM intake and a 2-barrel Holley carburetor. He eliminated the computer system with the addition of an HEI distributor. The bulky air cleaner box was replaced by a mechanical fan with compact electric one, getting rid of the fan shroud in the process, converted from a serpentine belt to a V belt, eliminating the cast aluminum brackets that cover the front of the motor. I used the analogy that all this crap covering the motor was like pulling a raincoat off a supermodel. Clean engine thing of beauty. While eliminating the serpentine belt assembly, I also got rid of the power steering box and brakes and power brakes, which are powered by hydraulic pressure. I got a manual steering box with reverse rotation that bolted right in. It's very strange, some of his choices, but it's working for him. I tore out the dashboard and made a flat wood one. Yeah, okay. New wiring harness. Built a wooden pilot's panel, a rear view mirror, 10-stitch glasses, controls everything. It looks, yeah, he really gets in. He knocks some ways some people do things. Very funny, very nice guy. He says he's a welder and fabricator, so he sees the value in different things. Ended up doing his own lift kit for about $100. Okay, he explains that. Yeah, I mean, it's just, he goes on and on all the stuff he did. And he actually included a picture of his van, which is pretty cool. He sent me another one in the email this morning. But here's why it's so cool. The other thing I wanted to tell you, a handyman at work recently gave him another truck for free. It's a GMC Safari. And so he's got a parts truck. And so he is making me the offer of, well, it basically says he decided to keep it for parts. He's got a spare motor, glass, doors, etc. It's like a buffalo to an Indian. No part will be wasted. I love that. And he's wondering if I might be interested in the front door panel. And he says that he also has door panel. It's one of those overhead things I was looking for. So, and I'm just sharing this with you to demonstrate how, for me anyhow, social media is pretty amazing. I get all kinds of offers. I get notes from people offering me places to stay, places to park. Want to take you out for a beer if you come into town. People are offering up parts and all that, and it's amazing. And I think it's, not to sound all too hippy dippy or anything, but it's an energy thing, you know. I believe in putting out positive energy because that's what you get back from people. If you're a negative person, you put out negative energy, you'll get negative energy back from people. If you're wondering why life is always kicking you in the balls, a lot of it has to do with what your outlook is, because you get what you put out. And I try to be positive, so I'm getting a lot of positive stuff from people. It's very cool. I'm excited about it. So that's it. You know, I'm going to work on this today. I got to clean this out, and then this week coming up, I'm going to start doing some actual work and making some money again. But this is pretty cool. I mean, what are the odds that that would just work out? You know, it's so funny. I think about something, how I want to do it. I picture it in my mind. I start working on something. I start looking around, and it seems like the stuff just kind of falls into place for me. When I'm done straightening it up today, if there's enough time, I'm going to cruise over. There's a foam mart over in Culver City. I'm going to see if they got some high-density foam. Something like this, which is the mat that I cut up. This is what I use to wedge between the ribs up here in the ceiling, and between that and the sheet metal of the ceiling to take out the bounce that was there. I'm going to have to double check this. This might already be the right size. I might not have to go buy anything else other than one of these. You see how things just happen sometimes? I didn't consider that. Have a good day. Be nice to each other. And, you know, I'll see you next time. Look at this mess.